Hi Flosstube, it's Diane, Lucky Gardenia. I believe this is my 8th Flosstube video, and it's been about a month since my last videotaping, and felt like even though I don't have much of substance as far as works in progress, I'll show you what I'm working on, some haul, and kind of catch you up on what's going on in my life. And probably won't be that long of a video. I think it's shortly after 9 o'clock Central Time. I think it took me an hour and a half trying to improve the lighting and this area and the setup. So just figure I'll just go with it, and hopefully it's worth watching. Let's see, over the past week, I think everybody probably in the world knows about Harvey and Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma. I'm in Texas. I was not in an area that was impacted. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is in North Texas, and it didn't come up this far, but we did get gas has been short, and it's debatable on whether it's due to the hurricane or due to people's panic over shortages. All I can say is, I think it was Thursday of last week, Wednesday maybe. I don't watch the news. I don't watch too much. I don't really watch television. I listen to audiobooks and YouTube and Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, CBS, sometimes on the shows that have been archived. But I started seeing on Facebook all these notices about where to find gas. So I jumped up and thought, gee, I need to go pick up some prescriptions, so I'll just head out for a quick run. And there's like 3 gas stations right not even half a block from my apartment, and lines were going crazy. And this was like not at 5 o'clock or after 5. This was at a time when nobody would really be at the gas station. So I was able to fill up, of course, $1 more than what I normally would have spent, but I haven't been really out and about, just trying to save the gas. And then here we have Irma going on right now, and I'm praying for all those in the Florida and all the areas. I think there's the Carolinas and Georgia that'll possibly be hit by it. So prayers are going out to all those that are in the path of that huge storm. Not only the people, but all the pets. I just worry about all the animals out there. But you know me, I've got 2 pugs that I adore. I've got a horse, and it just makes you think, gee, what would I do in an emergency? The closest I ever came to being close to a hurricane, I was at a training session for work. I believe we were in Houston, and I don't know, this is like 20 years ago. I think it was Hurricane George was coming, and we had to finish our meeting quickly and get the heck out of there and go north. So that was kind of a panic type of evacuation type of scenario, and the only other thing I can equate it to is tornadoes. Dallas, you know, was kind of right in the path of a lot of tornadoes that happen. Used to happen mainly in the spring. Now it's, I don't know if it's climate change, but definitely seeing more tornadoes and massive ones. And I think it was probably 30 years ago. I was living in Grand Prairie, which is also a suburb of Dallas, Fort Worth, and had a tornado warning. And at that time, I believe it was a Friday night, and had planned to go out with a girlfriend out to downtown Fort Worth, which is what we were doing at that time, and had kind of a whole group of people that would meet down there every Friday night. And it was Sundance Square, so you can go from one bar or cocktail place to another And it was just kind of like a weekly thing that we would do, and it really was fun to meet up with the same group of people. And didn't go that night because of the horrible storm that was coming, and the tornado did go over my house, and I had my dogs, I had the radio in the bathroom. You could hear it, and what they say, you know, it sounds like a steam engine, a choo-choo train, and that's exactly what it sounded like. It was like bum, 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 and the, you know, house is shaking. Thank God it didn't hit. It was just, I don't know how close to hitting it was, but I definitely heard it. And I watched, you know, Twister and those type of movies, and it's exactly what it sounds like, and horrifying. But as far as hurricanes, don't really get them up this far north in Texas. Lucy Lou's moving around and moving the camera. Just wanted to say, I don't know, obviously you know I love sterling silver and love charms and sterling silver rings and necklaces and that type of thing. And James Avery, who is a Texas jeweler, and I believe it's down in the hill country, and I've been buying James Avery charms and rings and such since I was in high school. So it's a good 40 years ago, because I can remember when I was a sophomore, junior, you know, starting to really become a collector of that type of charm, bracelets and such. Well, they donated quite a bit of money for the hurricane relief for Harvey here in Texas, and there is a charm, and it's the state of Texas, and there's a heart cut out in the middle, and all the proceeds from that charm that are sold during the month of September will go to the hurricane relief. That is Harvey. When this went out, Irma wasn't even happening. So I jumped on it. I thought it was a great cause, and then I would also have a charm that would remind me of all the people pulling together to help those that were impacted by that horrible hurricane. Mother Nature's mighty fierce when it wants to be. It's just incredible. Okay, I hope this is taping. I can't see the camera that far. Okay, so let's see. Why don't I go through some of my haul, then I'll do the 2 works in progress, and then I'll show the doll. Oh, one other quick thing, just an update on my dad. He did have a heart attack. He was in the hospital, then went to a skilled nursing center for at least a month, and he didn't want to stay there. He wanted to go home, so we have nursing care there, and he's just not rebounding. My stepmother, who has severe dementia, has been moved to a wonderful memory care center, and she's getting the care she needs. And my dad virtually is just sleeping the majority of the days, and you know, he's got issues with not only his heart, he's got lung issues and kidney issues. So just praying that he has some, you know, some type of rebound so we can have some joy, a little bit of joy in his life, and I'm not sure if we're going to get to see that again. He's just really struggling, you know, and there's not a whole lot that can be done. His age, he's had all type of heart surgeries and devices. He's got a pacemaker, he's got a Watchman that will catch blood clots, and it just comes down to, you know, sometimes when you're trying to fix something that will help your blood pressure, so to speak, it's going to hurt your kidneys, and it's just a true balancing act. So if you would, if you're the praying type, please pray for him and my family. I appreciate it. Okay, let me move on. Oh, Lucy's standing on some of my stuff. I was watching, I think it was a wonderful mother-daughter podcast, Flosstube, just keep stitching, I believe, and they talked about a artist that I had never heard of, and I'm trying to find his name. C. Harper. I can't think of his first name. I believe there's more to his name than that. I believe he's from Ohio. I think that's where they're from. And I purchased, I think, 3 of them, but I could only locate one. And don't know if you can see it. It is a otter with a baby otter floating in the water, and then there's a flower on their tummies. So I thought that was adorable, and had never heard of him, but really different type of kind of cross-stitch charts. You might want to check it out. This is called Devotion in the Ocean. Okay. Well, I don't know if you can tell through my past 7 videos that I kind of go in rants on certain things that I'm liking at the moment. And Nora Corbett I haven't finished anything of hers, but I've got quite a few of her patterns, and I just thought I would show you the ones that I've purchased since my last video. This is Evening Primrose, and it reminded me of a tutu. So, of course, because of the tutu sisterhood, I thought that would be absolutely perfect for me to work on. And on eBay, you can find them, and a lot of them come with these the Mill Hill seeds that go on them, and some even come with the acrylic threads. Of course, they do cost more, but at least you don't have to go chase them down. There's even one that even provides the DMC floss. Also, I found on 123stitch.com, they will have the pattern, then they'll list all the flosses that you can order at that time, the acrylic that they have, and the Mill Hill beads or crystals or treasures, I think they're called. Okay, the next one I got is Merchant Mermaid, and it's a tribute to Mill Hill, who is in cooperation, I believe, with Nora Corbett, and also Witchout Imports, who does the fabric. Oh, that's Lucy. I don't know what she's talking to us about, but this one, because it is a Mill Hill pattern, has quite a few uses of many different beads. Some of them you can get that only have one bead, so there's not that much of an investment other than the floss and the fabric. Okay. This one is called Rose Fairy. Actually, this is the Pixie Couture collection, and it's Rose. And given, you know, about Tyler Junior College, that I was an Apache Belle, and they're considered the yellow rose of Texas. So although that's not a yellow rose, it was a rose. Oh, I jumped on it. Another fun one that I found is called Geranium. And Nora Corbett, it's the Pixie Blossoms collection. I don't know if you, hopefully y'all are seeing this. And just really fun. Love the colors, love that she has like a little geranium petal on her head. And the packets that I'm talking about, this one came with the pattern. I bought it, and it's all the beads that I would need to complete this pattern. And Nora Corbett, Lord, does she have a following. There are even groups that get together, and Nora will come and be with them, and they're all displaying their finished pieces, which are just spectacular. This one is really adorable. It's called Violet, and it's also Pixie Couture. And I did not get the beads with it, but I plan to purchase it from 123 Stitch. And I don't know if you can see, she's got flowers and beads around her head, kind of like a headband. Just really sweet. And depending on, you know, your fabric, it could be really big or probably really pretty small. Let me see what else I have here. I've got some more Nora Corbett down here. Okay, this is, I was obviously on a Pixie Fairy kick here. This one, oh, the picture's going to come out. It's Daisy. And I don't know if you can see this. And this was one of the patterns that only has one bead that you would use. So there's not that huge investment to, you know, purchase a lot of other things other than the fabric and the DMC. Oh, and here's a pretty one. And I got a, this was one that came with all the flosses and the Krennic. And Krennic is some other type of thread in there, and with a needle and a needle threader. So fabric came with it. I really wasn't keen on the color of the fabric, so I probably would use my own. This is Mermaid Verde, and hopefully you can see this. And she has a huge number of patterns for mermaids and pixies, and then just kind of retro type of women that are just in beautiful dresses, or one Sleeping Beauty, and just all different kinds of really, you know, her creativity is unbelievable. Okay, this one is called Magnolia. And again, it's Pixie Couture, and love that. I don't know if you can see, it's the dress is like the magnolia, and then she has like an umbrella of another flower that's pink. So it's really, all of these are, I don't know how she can come up with all these different concepts. I would love to spend a little bit of time in her creative mind. And this one I saw someone had completed it, and I thought, gee, I like that. And it's called Bleeding Heart, and it's somewhat of an oriental feel, and then really interesting wings. I don't know if you can see, but it was so impressive. Of course, I bought it, and heaven only knows when I will ever get to these. But the other thing that I purchased this week, I know I've probably showed this in the past. It's the Long Dog samplers. That is the tongue twister. I had purchased like 3. This is Bristol Fashion, and I think this is a kind of a take on schools that used to teach embroidery. And this one is called Castles in the Air. And I love this. What got me most of all on this is at the very bottom it says, "Dream a little, dream with me." And if I don't do that whole chart, I'm going to at least do that piece of it, because it reminds me of Audrey Hepburn, and that's, you know, just really, I love Audrey Hepburn, her style. And then I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. It's one I purchased this week, and it's called The Stag Party. And hopefully you can see it. If not, you can go to their website. It says, in hope my heart doeth rest. And then it has alphabet, it has the home. There's 2 horses in here, and then all these different reindeers, and it's just adorable. Like I said, I'm not sure if I would do the house, but I was thinking, is there any way possible I could do the horse and reindeer portion and then incorporate Dream a Little, Dream with Me somewhere in there, maybe include the alphabet. So I may be merging a couple of these. And I've seen these on Instagram. Some people have, use only one thread throughout the whole thing. There's others that are using variegated threads, and there's others that have one of those wonderful creative minds that can just, they're picking out threads for different pieces, areas of the, I think it's Death by Cross Stitch, and it's just phenomenal. Check out the hashtags on Instagram. You'll be amazed. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little quick story. I know I showed this to you before. It's called Colorful Cow, and it's time to stitch till the cows come home. I had purchased this, and I know I showed it on a video, and I was in the mood to start it, and I could not locate a ton of the patterns that I had bought. Books, patterns, and I had to move, I think I told you, the boxes and everything out of this area. Things in my living room just got kind of moved to other places. I never could locate it. I looked and looked and looked, and it just got to be, I couldn't find it online. I was going to buy it again. And then I was at Hobby Lobby and didn't, and lo and behold, there it was. I thought, I don't care, I'm going to buy it again. Would you not know? I found the pattern like the day after the night I bought it. So I'm most likely going to return the one I just bought, because I did find the original. But it's like, isn't that just the way it is, Murphy's Law? Okay, I dropped by Hobby Lobby. I kind of hit the trifecta, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and Michael's, which are all in the same shopping center, and went in there to get a bunch of, the one mono threads. Like I bought 321 red. There was another red, I think it's 304 off the top of my head, and some blues and some oranges. And thought, depending on what background I chose, I was thinking about maybe doing the castles in the air. I had dyed some Ada with aqua dye, Rit dye, and thought it would really be kind of cool with like a orange tangerine floss on that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, but I have the threads if I decide to go that route. Anyway, I'm always dashing in there like at the last countdown of the clock. So usually I'm pulling threads for some pattern that, and that they're saying, get to the registers, we're about to close. That's more often than not, that's when I'm dashing in there around 7:30. I did find a pattern I never saw, and it was in the clearance, and it's a rose, and it's really unique. It's got rosebuds in the back. It's got this little turquoise border, is kind of an ant leopard print, but it's in turquoise, and just really, and then there was like plaid ribbon and then rosebud ribbon. So of course, as you know, Patchy Bells, roses, $10. Couldn't go wrong with that. Okay, wanted to show you something I did. I was looking at some of the long dog samplers, and some of them had some really interesting, dyed fabrics, and I decided I was going to take some Ada cloth that I had and coffee dye it, and it came out pretty interesting. Pretty wild. Kind of looks like a cowhide, to tell you the truth, but the one downside to this versus tea dyeing is it does smell like coffee, and I don't know that over time if that will disappear or not, but it really did make a unusual pattern on the coffee. And I didn't wet the Ada first. I just got a spray bottle and mixed up some instant coffee, and then it wasn't coming out, you know, unique enough, so I started, you know, throwing some intense areas with just a spoon, and had it on a drying rack in my bathtub. So I did that this week. And then I have 2 WIPs in progress. One, I don't know where the picture went. Oh, hold on. It's, excuse me, it's Frida, and this is kind of crumpled, but I bought it off of Etsy, and I had started it. It was the one that I talked about where I think I was using 14 count Ada and using 3 plies of DMC, and I was using a really strong magnifying glass, and it just looked really bad, and it really was depressing. I believe someone made a comment on one of my former Flosstube videos and said to use 2 strands. So what I did this time, I restarted it. I don't know if you can see it. I just started it a night or 2 ago. I almost have 200 stitches in, and using 2 strands, but I'm using it on kind of a tan. It's darker than beige color Ada, so it's not stark white where it's going to show if there's not enough coverage of the thread, and I'm happier with the 2 strands. So moving along on that, and so far the background, there's a lot of the same color, and it's kind of meditative to be watching something on Netflix and just be able to not think of what thread you're using. And the other one that I know that y'all are aware that I'm doing, and it's this, hold it, it's the lemon crate label, and I did make a little bit of progress. Let me get this, I don't know if you can see it, but got a little bit further on the letter, started doing some of the green and then some of the background yellow, and I think I'm going to learn eventually, but you know, I was just going along getting that yellow in, and then I looked back at the picture and I thought, the yellow I'm using looks a little bit too dark, and sure enough I had picked up the wrong floss, and so frogged that, started out again with the more lighter yellow shade, and so I guess it is frustrating whenever you're having to take something out, but so be it. It'll teach me to double check before I get going. And let's see if there's anything else to share. I don't know if you noticed these little bouquets. Michael's and Joann's have them, and here's another example. This is actually two bouquets, and they're just lovely, and they're on sale, you know, like $5.99, normally $10, and then if you have a 20% off coupon. And they have some for the fall that I purchased, and it just kind of perks up the house. You know, I can't afford to go get fresh cut flowers all the time, but it just makes me happy to look at them. Ah, I almost forgot the dolls. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but Princess Diana is dear to my heart. I watched her wedding on TV back when I was young and having my children, and she was just a wonderful person, you know, to the normal masses, you know, not the royalty. She really was a people person, the people's princess. And on the 31st of August was the anniversary, I think the 20th anniversary of her death. And so I bought this. This is actually back from when she got married. So the plastic is kind of yellowed, but it's her and Prince Charles. And I just thought it was a really sweet way to remember her. I also bought one of the, I think it was not Ashton Drake, Franklin Mint's doll of Diana, and bought the wedding dress separately. And so I have that. Couldn't afford the, I did buy one Lady Di wedding. It's not the best version, but I got a good deal on eBay. So, but that one, you know, kind of reminds me of sitting there in my house watching that major event for that time. Okay, I think I've talked to you about Jean dolls, and this is somewhat like a Barbie doll, except it's, I think, 15.5 inches, and they're jointed, and for the most part, their faces are the same. The hairstyles and color are different. This is the only one that I've seen that had actually black hair. And at one time I had virtually black hair. So I thought, gee, I want to get that. And this dress that she's in is called Best Bet. And the clothes that they made for this doll, it's no longer produced, which is such a shame. You can look it up on Yahoo Images. Jean is spelled with a G, G-E-N-E, and you can buy the clothes separately. And I always love Barbies. I still love Barbies, but these dresses are just exquisite. And they come with shoes and normally jewelry. I don't know that this one has all the jewelry. This isn't the doll that originally came out on, but if you've never heard of them, you might want to look them up if you are a doll collector. They are just one of a kind. They are really special. Well, I think that's it for now, and sorry I'm not able to pull it together and do this, you know, every week or twice a month. That's usually what I'm aiming for, and life just happens, and it just, you know, finally gets to the point it's like, gee, I got to do something, or nobody's going to want to stay subscribed to my channel. But I really appreciate all the comments. It still amazes me that, you know, I'll get a alert and it's a comment back on one of my earlier videos. And one of the nicest comments that I got, and I can't remember who it was from, it was like she had just found my channel and she was binge watching my videos. I'm like, that is the biggest compliment that I think I could get. I mean, I do that. I find someone I love and I can't get enough of them, and then I'm just like really looking out for the next video. So it just touched my heart, and it's probably on one of those days I've been working really long hours, 8, 9, 10 at night sometimes. Just want to make sure I'm doing a thorough and good job, so I will do what it takes. But it just hit me on a day that it just gave me that extra boost, and I really was appreciative of it. Also, I want to point something out. While I was in the line checking out on Saturday at Hobby Lobby, I already had these bracelets, these 3, and they're freshwater pearls on leather cord. They had this one. This is about to tip over, and they had another one I bought, but I had too many on, and it was like for $7.99, and you know me, I love silver, I love turquoise, and I love pearls. So, of course, I have to wear them all at the same time. Anyway, I hope everyone has a good week coming up tomorrow here in the U.S. And I guess in other parts of the world, you probably already started your week. And please pray for those in Florida and those in southern Texas that got impacted by the hurricanes. Well, goodbye for tonight. Happy trails, happy stitching. Bye.